Welcome back to another captivating episode, where we delve into the unexpected aftermath of a fairy tale wedding that turned into a family feud. Today we're sharing JJ's emotional journey, as his story reminds us that truth can be stranger and sometimes more painful than fiction. So, not my story, but my best friend I will call JJ, and happened about 2 years ago. I have his permission to post it. JJ came out to his family when he was about 27 years old. Aside from them, everyone else in his life knew he was gay, and there was a good reason for it. As he expected, his parents reacted horribly to the news and basically disowned him at the moment. They later told both extended families, and his uncles and grandparents cut him off too. His maternal grandmother went as far as to try to take him out of his dead maternal grandfather's will. She failed due to the will's conditions. No one could modify it, not even the main representative, aka grandma, and homosexuality was not listed in the conditions that could make the inheritance void. Or grandpa didn't expect it to happen, or he just did not care. Take your guess. JJ was legally the partial owner of some properties, and also got a substantial amount of money, which got even bigger when he reclaimed in cash his corresponding share of the houses, which forced his family to buy them from him. The other option was losing the properties in a public sale, as stated by our country's laws. JJ didn't need the money actually. By this point, he was a moderately successful professional and lived in his own apartment. But it severed any legal binding he had with his family that could become a problem in the future. He still kept good relationships with his sister and most of his cousins, but even if they invited him to family gatherings, he always declined. Fast forward 3 years, and JJ is getting married to his longtime boyfriend Sky, whose family was the polar opposite of JJ's. When they found out, they made royal wedding-style plans for the guy's elopement. They were, very wealthy, and JJ contributed to the whole extravaganza with a portion of his inheritance. He invited as his guests his friends, including here yours truly as his best man, some co-workers, his sister, and the cousins he still spoke to. Don't be wrong, it was a lot of people. The wedding was amazing, done in an underground, literally speaking. It was a freaking cave. Venue. His sister took him to the altar, there was an orchestra playing, etc. Fairy tale style. And the after party, well, I can't remember half of it because I was so drunk, but it was from another world. They said go big or go home, and they really went big. But enough of the context. You came here for the juicy part. JJ told the good cousins not to tell anything to his parents or other family members about the wedding because he didn't want trouble. But obviously the next day, their social media accounts were full of pictures and words spread out like fire. At first, it was small things. He started receiving calls of some aunts about why they weren't invited. The bad cousins complained via Facebook and other nuisances. He just ignored them and blocked numbers and accounts. He did not want or need to give explanations when they had all made clear their position years prior. But one day, hell came directly to the door. His parents, P&M, his maternal grandma, MG, and his paternal grandparents, PGS, all the heads of the families, came to visit. How they found where he lived is still a mystery to him. Sky was working and JJ was alone in the house, so there was no one to help him against the crook squad. His name, not mine. I can't actually transcript because he didn't use exact words when he told me this, but it seems at first they tried to be gentle, asking how he could leave them out of such an important event that directly affected the family. Dudes, really? And things like that. His mom even used the "you took away my chance of seeing my only male son" marriage argument. He pointed out that they were the ones that expelled him from the family and that they hated everything gay. Half of that wedding was LGBT crowd, if you're wondering. They classified his exile as a misunderstanding. The bickering between the six continued for a long time, until he got tired and asked what they wanted, as he could not redo the wedding. MG spilled the beans. Ungrateful brat. At least compensate us for not inviting us to a wedding we paid for. That was the problem. MG and his parents were mad he had used the family money on the ceremony. He told me they actually thought he paid for everything and had burned out all the inheritance, when it was more 30 to 40% of the deal. Sky's family paid more and JJ still had inheritance money, and they wanted it back. They had brought the PGS with them as an additional emotional leverage. As I told you earlier, JJ had made sure that money had no legal bindings to his family anymore, but for some reason, they still believed it was theirs to a point and were mad he had spent it. He confronted them, and they threw away their facade. What came next was a serious fight in which both JJ and his father ended hitting each other until the neighbors called the police. Charges were pressed on both sides, but in the end, the case was declared a tie. Don't ask me how that was possible, because I don't know. And JJ was not forced to pay 1 cent. He was also able to ask for restraining orders against all of them. Till this day, JJ is still shaken about the event. He had prepared himself for years knowing that his family would hate him because of his sexuality, but he still retained some hope that far in the future they could mend things up. He lost that hope after they tried to emotionally scam him. Thanks for reading. And yeah, I now weeding. Truth be told, I am secretly a hardcore stoner. Kidding, this always happens with the title, as is the only part I don't run through word. Sorry about it. And that wraps up our story for today. A tale of standing strong in the face of adversity and true love triumphing over all. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this. See you in the next video.